The countdown is the worst. What's up,
Yeah.
everyone? The first episode of the greatest podcast of all time.
Well, don't
So,
sound dead inside.
this is just how I talk all the time. How are you guys today?
I'm
How
good.
long
I
have you
woke
been
up like
awake?
20 minutes ago, so
That's what I woke up like 4 hours. No, like way more than 4 hours ago. Like 6 hours ago. Because I already rode today. How long have you
Wow.
been awake, Nina?
Probably around like 6:30. I coach some athletes. I coach some athletes that they only ride like after work. So like
Mm,
sometimes they don't start their rides until 7, 8 p.m. And I'm always like, how do you train that late? Like I could not do that.
no.
I feel like after 2 p.m. I'm already going downhill.
Yeah. It's like 10 in the morning and I feel like I'm going downhill.
You've been awake for like hours already. Your day's over basically.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like we should go back and talk about True Grit.
True Grit. That was the
yeah.
first thing.
Are we gonna like introduce ourselves, or are we just gonna like go and assume people
No,
know who we are?
they already
Everyone
know
knows who
who
we
we are.
are.
Okay. Yeah, we can talk
This
about
is
True Grit if you want.
Go for it.
Um, yeah, should I tell like the whole story with like the bike and everything, or
Yeah,
should
for
I just
sure.
tell
That was
about
the
I
the
most
feel like
race?
you
suspenseful
should.
part.
Okay.
Well, I mean, let's
Yeah,
just
well,
yeah. Let's just preface it with like, yeah, I you were like, well, what am I gonna do for a mountain bike? And I asked Lauf like, hey, like, Roston's doing the LGP. He does mountain biking too. Like, and they were like, well, we gave you a discount code. He's free to use it. And then we got an email from them, like, how many weeks out from True Grit? A few weeks out.
like maybe 3 weeks, 4 weeks, something like that. It was not that long. Um, but yeah, and they were like, yeah, we're gonna send you the Elia, and like if you podium, or at first they were like, if you win, you get to keep it, and then later it was like, okay, if you podium, you get to keep it. Um, and yeah, like the previous year, I had gotten like seventh in the like 2 lap race, um, and so I was like pretty confident I could podium. Like fitness was good. Um, like everything was good. So I was pretty confident, and then yeah, it was like a crazy race. Like started off racing with the front group, and there was 5 of us, and the pace was just too hot. I was like, if I maintain this, I'm gonna like blow up on the second lap. So I dropped back, but I was okay because I was still in fifth. And then the hope was like to pick a couple more riders off on that second lap that were in that group, hopefully going out too hard, which I almost did. But yeah, I think I had my first flat towards the end of lap one, so that would have been like 20 something miles into it, or like 30 miles into it probably. Um, the first flat was a super quick fix, like maybe 45 seconds. I was super happy with my flat fixing time. uh, like I had flatted, got passed by now fifth place, so I was off podium position. And I'm like freaking out because like I'm in the position I need to be to win this like super nice, like awesome bike, and I'm flatting. But then
But you flatted. What happened there?
yeah, I just got a little too rowdy on one of the like road descents. Not road descent, like it's like a super like rocky, like fire road. It's like more rocky than any of the single track, or not more rocky, but the single track is like a lot of slick rock. So unless you like really mess up, it's hard to puncture. But the fire road, there's like a million sharp rocks. So yeah, just kind of got unlucky, I guess, or just went a bit too fast. Um,
I mean,
and
what
then
tires did you choose?
yeah,
He doesn't want to talk
yeah.
about it.
So it was
Let him
kind
say
of
how many
dumb.
more flats he got before we shame the tires.
Well, I'll quickly say what tires I got. So yeah, it was kind of dumb in hindsight, but I was like going back and forth between like my usual setup for like a real mountain bike race, which would be like 2.4 Aspens. Um, but then like I had the Race Kings like all ready for the race, so I was like, oh, I'll just use the Race Kings and not have to buy the Aspens. So yeah, I think just too little of volume for a race like that. Like 2.2 is, I mean, now they have the 2.4s, so I think the 2.4s would be good, but yeah, 2.2 is for like when it's super rocky. It's probably not the move. Um, but yeah, the rest of the story, like caught back up, had another flat, fixed it, ran out of CO2s, the plug fell out, so then I had to ride the insert for like, I think it was a mile and a half. Got past again, was in sixth, was like, oh, I'm probably not going to catch back up. Then just like buried myself on the Zen Trail, which is like the most technical part of the course, and it's like hard. Like my arms were like so tired. Like my arms and upper body were more cooked than like my legs. Like it was like I was
I
dying
mean,
at
I
the end of
believe
that.
it. I mean, we saw your push-ups during team camp. Like, we got to work on your
Yeah,
form.
yeah. Um, but yeah, then like caught back up, flatted again, and that time didn't get caught, and yeah, rolled it in for fifth, and got to keep the bike, which was awesome.
Same tire or different
Nice.
tires for the flats?
Um, the it was the rear all except the last time. Then I also flatted the front.
Laugh was even giving you a hard time. Like, I
Yeah,
feel like they kept, like, poking fun, like, you ran these skinny tires, like, wider's faster. Which I think there's a time and place for the old Race Kings for sure. But I always said like I just wish that they made these in a 2.4 and I don't know how to say the new tire that came out with the Dubnatai
Dubnatal.
doesn't really I mean Dubnatal, okay. Doesn't really roll off the tongue quite as good as Conti Race Kings, huh? But you know, it's not the same exact tire, but I think that it draws a lot on the Race Kings, and it is kind of like the new Race Kings. So I'm excited to try those in 2.2 for the Rift,
You
because
ordered
my go-to has
2.4s
been
for the Rift?
no 2.2s for the Rift. I don't know even if I would run the 2.4s for mountain bike racing. Maybe Leadville if I did it, but but yeah, how did you like the bike? What were your like first impressions, Rostin?
yeah. So like right off the bat, one of the first things I noticed was like how well it carries momentum. Like particularly on a course like True Grit, which is like true mountain biking. It's probably the most technical race I'll do all year. Like it just carries momentum where you wouldn't expect to be like carrying momentum through. To so it's like you just come up to like a section where you're where like maybe coming off onto a downhill up onto like a technical climb, and you just hit the climb and it just like goes like more than any of my other bikes. I'd say that's like the biggest thing, and then yeah, just like downhill, like it definitely like just it handles so well, like it gives you so much confidence. Um, and then with the flight attendant, like as soon as like you hit a climb and you're like laying down the power, like it also pedals well at the same time. So it's like the perfect balance. I think it's definitely a bike designed for like true mountain biking, and I think it does that really well. So
Nice. Yeah, that's the impression I got of it too. And I'm hoping to do more mountain bike races this year. Um, but definitely on my calendar is the Rift mountain bike stage race. So I'm excited to, bring it back to bring the mountain bike back to its homeland and test it on the trails that they probably like designed it on. So yeah, cool. What was your first race of the season, Job?
It was
I guess it was the
same as
same as
you,
mine, right?
Rotan. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
Good old Croton.
Croton. Yeah. It always throws me off when you say it like that. So,
That's how the North Kakalakians say it.
what is a Kakalakian?
A Carolina person.
You want to tell yours first or me?
I feel like mine was kind of straightforward. I think this is my fourth year doing it. And I'm so glad that after the first year, I had attempted the 150 and I did DNF at mile like 100. It's like this is ridiculous. So the 100 has been much more manageable in terms of just feeling like I can race it. Like it's like I'm not out there surviving. I'm out there like making moves, trying to work with groups. It's very important to find a good group to work with.
Hmm.
So yeah, it was just like again, just a really cool experience feeling like it's really a race and seeing the people that are in my category and knowing where I'm at during the race, which is can be rare for like the women's field, especially during a mass start. You can kind of lose track of everybody. Um, so race ended in a sprint finish, and I played the sprint much better this year. And I also knew that when it comes to a track finish like that, it's better to hug the corner. And yeah, I placed fifth instead of sixth, so top five.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely interesting with the out and back course that you can see your competitors through the laps and kind of know your gap. But at the same time, I got dropped from the front group going through the cornfield the second time on the way in, and I thought I was dropped from that group for good. And then I checked the Strava flyby, and I was only like 10 seconds off for like an hour because I just didn't know where they were until I got to the racetrack. Yeah, my
Yeah.
race, this was the first 100-mile race where I felt like I was actually racing. I chased back onto the front group after the tree incident in the cornfield and did way too much power chasing back there. I pretty much cooked myself for a while, but being in the front group of a 100-mile race was very interesting because I felt like I should be getting dropped the whole time and it just never happened, which was fun. I chased I waited for the second group to catch me, and then from that rolled it in the second lap, and we kept catching people from the first group because the first group completely blew up with your two competitors in second and fourth overall off the front, and we caught almost everyone but those two that also had a male with them each, which was very interesting. So then, coming into the cornfield the last time, I knew that we only had to catch one more person for our group to be sprinting for the podium, and we caught that person pretty quick after that. And then I could see a rider just up the road, but someone else told me that he was a Masters rider, so I didn't actually have to catch him. But I thought if I could catch him, then maybe I wouldn't have to sprint, because my sprint is terrible. I hit 1,000 watts 3 times in my whole life. So I attacked with 4 miles to go trying to catch that dude, and I did not catch him. I just dangled in the middle by myself, and then lost the sprint to a guy that caught me. I got 6th as well.
I thought you got
Nice.
5th.
Did I get 5th? Or did I get 4th? Was the podium 3 or 5? I was 1 off the podium.
Oh, no, yeah, I was 1 off the podium. I got 4th, I didn't get 5th. Yeah, we both got 4th because we were just
Yeah,
off the
4th.
podium. I remember now.
Yeah. I couldn't remember because last
I
year
mean,
when
same
I did
thing.
the 50, the podium was 5 wide instead of 3.
Yeah.
It was also interesting
Yeah.
that they did the
What were you
50
gonna ask,
mile
Ralston?
course on the same day.
I was gonna ask him about the tree incident. I haven't heard about this, so.
So we're sitting at the start line, and the organizer says through the intercom system that he has an unfortunate announcement, and he tells us that they learned when the 150 milers went through that there were a bunch of trees cut down through this one 2-track section that weren't there the day before. Someone came and cut down trees and laid them across the course. And he said that he couldn't
Well, they were
promise us-
logging.
Well, yeah, but not there.
Yeah,
I'm
that
glad
was
the
random.
logging truck was gone too, because that would have been eventful.
Yes. Yeah, so they announced, I think the day before the race, like, I read the email, but apparently I hadn't read the email well enough. And basically they said that there could or could not be active logging on the course. And when they said on the course, they meant like basically the first 200 feet of like the first gravel that you touch. So this mass start, and then like imagine just a logging truck taking up the whole road, and you'd have to go like on the side of it in like a ditch to pass it. And we were pre-riding, it was there, and I was like, this is gonna be interesting. I feel like you said that word a lot, Job. They're just like interesting. And yeah, it definitely was an interesting experience, but it was not there, thankfully. But that's just Croton. It gets
Yeah.
it gets wild. You don't know if you're gonna have to like hike a bike or scramble through trees. And then I think on my second lap on the way back, or on the first lap on the way back, the tree already wasn't there. Like they already had cut it
Yeah.
out of the course.
It had looked like they had already
so-
cleared a lot by the time we got there, because I have video of it, and there's like so many trees that they just have thrown on the side. I'm like,
Really?
yeah,
Huh. Oh,
they did a good job clearing it.
you know what I also popped in my top 2 bag for the race? I threw a stack of my business cards in there because I thought that it could be a fun idea to like hand them out, because I knew like this is a race that I know a lot of people at, a lot of people know me at, been there a few times, and so every time I would catch somebody and they'd be like, oh, like Nina, I'd be like, hey, like you want one? Like I'd give them a business card, they'd be stoked about it. Then like I caught a guy in my second lap that he was struggling pretty hard, and I went to give him a business card because he knew me. He was like, "Oh yeah, like my buddy's gonna be so stoked that I rode with you." And I went to go to hand him one, and he's like, "Oh no, I'm good." I'm like, "It's a business card." And he's like, "It's a what?" 'Cause he thought I was giving him a gel. Um, but yeah, it was kind of just like a nice, unexpected surprise. I feel like, um, and yeah, just something to like mix it up. Um, and then, yeah, I mean, I feel like it was a good weekend though. Good start to the season. I feel like it's a great opener.
Were the business cards your only unique bike component?
Is this you wanting to talk about your disc wheel?
And no, absolutely not. I want you to talk about all the
Um,
positions that we almost mounted your number in.
yeah, yeah. I feel like every single race, I'm like trying to come up with a clever way to mount my number plate. But I always just end up doing the same thing and just kind of like cutting the edges and like just right underneath my Garmin, sticking straight out. I don't know why they make number plates so big, man. It's
It's awful.
ridiculous. But you were thinking of some interesting ways to
I
to
thought
do it.
the
I shut down those ideas quickly because I was like, okay, that's taking it too far.
I thought the on the suspension fork was the best one. It was the perfect size to fit right on there.
Yeah,
You definitely would
it
have won the
was.
sprint.
Oh, I won it already by a long shot. I didn't need that. I didn't need those marginal gains. I had maximal gains already.
I had max.
I have a funny number plate mounting story. Um, so at Sea Otter during I did the mountain bike race, and I mounted my number on my mountain bike like how I always do, like just like a slide, like you mount the top part on the handlebar, and then you like kind of not fold it, but just roll the back part a little bit, and then zip tie that to the handlebar so it's like slightly bent. That's like how I always do it. It's never been a problem. Like it's arrow, you can still see the number. It doesn't ruin the timing chip. Uh, and then I'm like warming up, and well, first I'm warming. I'm like I go to get on the course, and I like am going backwards on the course at Sea Otter, which like no racing has started. It's fine, and they like yell at me like, you got to get back on the other side of the course. You can't ride backwards. I'm like, okay, I'll get over there, like chill out. And then like this guy like starts yelling at me and is like sprinting towards me, and he's like, "You just
On a
totally
bike.
effed your number plate." What?
He
He
was
comes
sprinting
up and
towards you on a bike, or
no, it was like one of the race officials just running toward me.
okay.
But he comes and he like looks at my number plate and he's like, "You just totally effed your number plate." And I was like, "Okay, like I think it'll be fine." And he's like, "No, it's like not gonna work." And like I'm like, "I think it's gonna be fine. Like I've done this before." And he's like, "No, I own the number plate company or
I
whatever.
own the
Like
number
I'm the
plate
owner. I
company."
know better." uh,
He
and I was
owns
like,
the
"Okay,
number plate
like
company.
whatever." And
They're
then I just
definitely
like,
not going to sponsor us now. What are you doing?
Do we want
yeah.
a number plate sponsor?
Probably not.
But yeah,
What
and
would that even be
then
useful
they
for?
had like, I don't know. Then they had like a guy at the start with like the things, and he was like going around fixing everyone's number plates, which I guess they do at like every race now. So yeah,
Oh, they like went to everybody like facing their number plates. They're like flat in front of the bike.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
That's
I remember at
ridiculous.
Leadville it was kind of dramatic because it was the first race where they did it, and they they had to like delay the start because all the Grand Prix riders had their numbers mounted wrong, and the dude was going around with scissors remounting them all.
Accidentally clips like a cable.
Yeah.
Somebody's like, "I'll pay you $100 to do that to Keegan."
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, if we had a number plate sponsor, that would suck. Like they would make us mount it, like they would give us like a sale of a number plate and just like straight flat on in front of the bike. I can't even if I tried, I couldn't do that on my gravel bike. It's just impossible.
Yeah. I feel like most bikes, if they don't have internal cables, like where are you even gonna put that? Are you gonna strap it to the cables? There's nothing.
Yeah. Well, Rawson, you just got back from Sea Otter, right?
Yep. Yeah. It was a tough race. Like first round of the U23 or Lifetime Grand Prix, and I'm also in trying to get in like the U23 field and do the rest of the series. So, yeah, it was a tough race. Like just super fast. Like from what I've been hearing, like that's what everyone's saying. Like it was just probably, aside from Unbound, probably the fastest race all year, like competition wise. Um, yeah, it was crazy. Just like full gas racing all day. Like yeah, just super hard. Yeah, it was okay though. Like I'm happy with my fitness. Not the result I was looking for. It was like 19th in U23, so definitely uh, disappointing there. But uh, yeah, just excited for the rest of the series and hopefully do a bit better going forward.
Where do you need to be to get into the
For
series?
I was gonna ask
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah. So you have to be top 20 at between Sea Otter and Unbound. Like I guess they'll like average out your results for those, and then I think they'll select like a couple more just based on their own decision.
Do you feel like
Nice.
Sea
And
Otter or
Unbound.
Unbound was a better course for you?
Mm, I think Unbound will be better because I do think I have a lot of bit more experience there. Like I think I know like yeah just how the course rides and races. We're doing the 100, so that does make it worse for me. But yeah, I also think Unbound is like if you ride smart, you're gonna be able to put together a much better race. Whereas Sea Otter was just like a power to weight contest for the most part. Um, so yeah, I think Unbound will, if I play it right, will be better for me hopefully.
Yeah, how do you feel about Unbound being the 100 as opposed to the 200? And then also like I guess like in the U23 LGP, there are a few guys and girls who also have that like asterisk, which means like they're going for the regular LGP wildcard spot. And like, do they have to do the 200, or after their Seattle results, like if they're placing well, can they say, "Oh, I'll just do the 200 or I'll do the 100 so that I know I get in with the U23." Like, how does that work?
Mm, yeah, I think yeah. So they would have to do the 200 to go for the wild card, um, and then I guess they would just have to hope that they're either top 20 based on just their Sea Otter result, which I guess like if they won Sea Otter they could do, um, or just hope they get selected based on the like other what is it 5 riders they're gonna select. So yeah, I guess they could do that. I don't really know if there's anyone in the U23 that could actually win the wild card. Like maybe it'd be cool.
Yeah,
But yeah, I don't know.
it's pretty stacked, even the wild card
Yeah.
spots, for the men and the women. Yeah. I was just wondering, like, yeah, do they have to do the 200 if they, said that they want to go for it, or do they have a choice?
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
think you can switch from the U23 to the regular Grand Prix.
yeah. Well, yeah, yeah. If you're going for the wild card, then you definitely need to do the 200, obviously, and then
Mm-hmm.
yeah. If not, then you're gonna do the 100, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think like it's definitely a stretch if you're U23 going for the regular wild card spot. But it'll be interesting to see who still does the 200 from the U23 field. Um, but I think it would be much smarter to go for that 100. Um, how do you feel about doing the shorter distance? You said it's probably not going to suit you as well, right?
Yeah. Um, like I guess I get it. Like they probably don't want to. Like I guess the elite like 200 field is already so big, so maybe they like don't want to add another 30 riders to that. And it's also like the like I was talking to some people at Sea Otter and they were all like, yeah, it's probably not smart for like U23s to do a 200-mile race, which I don't really understand why. Like, I think you have to be smart about it, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. Like, it's long, but it's not that
Yeah, you
long.
see
It's
some
like,
people out there doing the 200.
yeah, like there's already a lot of like U23s and juniors that do it, and it's like it's, it's just a bike race. Like, it's not that long, you know. But yeah, so I guess I get the reason they're doing the
You said
100,
it's not
but
that long.
it's long, but it's like it's doable, you know. Like
Hmm.
And if these
if
people
you're
are wanting to be in the actual Grand Prix in like 2 years, then what's the point of limiting them now?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I don't like we should do the races we're trying to qualify for essentially. Like, but yeah, so I like, but I still get like the idea behind doing the 100. Yeah, I think it'll be fine. I think it's definitely gonna be. I think that will actually make this like the shortest race all year probably on my calendar, just time wise. I think, or I guess, yeah, I think it will be. Um, but yeah, no, I'm still super excited. Like, I think it'll be a lot of fun.
And Job, you're doing the 200 this year, right?
I am, yes. I'm excited and terrified.
You sound excited.
Thrilled. I've been thinking about my bike setup a lot.
I'm sure.
I have ideas.
Oh boy.
With
Rawson, are you
us.
gonna run the cask Nirvana?
If they send it to me in time,
Sweet.
Joe, are you gonna run aero bars?
No. I can't run aero bars with my handlebars because there's no room to clamp them on. But
There's
I
no room to
reached
even
out.
put your hands on the handlebars.
Well, so I reached out to X Lab, which is Dawn to Dusk's parent, and asked them about some of their stuff, and they have this thing called the Hydro Blade, which is basically like an out the front water solution thing, kind of like what Chase Wark ran last year. And I was
I'm
like,
gonna look it
is
up.
there any way you guys make a mount that'll clamp to these handlebars? And she was like having me measure my handlebars, and I'm certain my measurements were inaccurate. But there are some things I want to get
Wow.
my hands on to be aero.
The X-Lab Hydroblade hydration system. 21
Uh,
reviews, average 4 stars.
average ones.
Nice. You're like a mini Chase Work.
Oh yeah. We're good friends. He influences me too much.
What about are you gonna keep the ESIs on your drop bars?
Oh yeah, for sure. I've been loving that. It's so much more comfortable than bar tape.
Then your Timu bar tape.
The Timu bar tape is still surviving.
You can unwrap it and rewrap it and it's still going strong.
Yup. No sticky. It's basically just foam with carbon fiber looking stuff printed on the top.
I mean, it looks like carbon fiber, so it must be fast.
It must be fast.
Rawson, are you thinking about any interesting components or setup for Unbound? Or
Mm,
gear?
no, not really. Yeah, I'll probably just run a pretty standard setup. Yeah, I don't think I'll do anything too crazy. Just a normal setup.
Yeah. Are you hoping that it's going to be hot this year or like a rain year? Like, what are you hoping for?
I think rain would be awesome. Or either one, honestly, rain or heat, whatever like makes it harder. Um, like mud would be
I think
awesome
heat makes
too.
it harder.
Yeah, I think people are expecting heat though. I think if it's like super rainy, it like kind of gets in their heads a bit more maybe. Um,
That's
Especially if
true.
it's muddy too. Like if it's muddy and just like pouring rain, like I feel like I feel like that also just motivates me more to ride harder. Um,
Mm-hmm. It's more like a race of attrition. I feel like as soon as somebody like drops their chain or gets like tangled in like the barbed wire on the side of the course or anything like that happens, I feel like people start getting yeah, just like unmotivated and dissuaded from keep pushing. And I think that I think that you could shine there, but I also think sounds like you're pretty good in the heat. So I think that like that can also really hurt people. Do you not think you're good in the heat?
no, I feel like I'm
You
terrible in the
live in
heat.
like
I think
80
I'm
degrees.
yeah, I've
In
gotten
the
better at
summer.
it. I Yeah, I've gotten better at it, but I feel like in the past I've just like whenever it's like a really hot race, I don't do. I think Unbound is the one exception because I feel like I do heat training good enough going into Unbound, and then like yeah, I also feel like Unbound like you always have like wind on you, so you're like kind of getting that like evaporative cooling the entire time, whereas like I had some like crazy times at like Crusher where just going up that climb when it's like 100 degrees at the end, like just dying there. But yeah, I don't know.
I
That's
had
also
an
Crusher,
idea.
like full exposure, like dry, just yeah, that Crusher crushes you.
It's almost like they knew what they were doing with the name. If it is a hot year, I had an idea for another thing that I could make. What if, so you know those hoses you put in your garden that like slowly seep water
DIY
out of them?
King.
So what if I
Yeah.
ran those hoses into a Usui pack, but that pack wasn't for drinking, it was just for seeping water across my body for extra cooling. I've looked into this. You can buy all of the fittings to make this work. Just plug and play.
I think I think that's an amazing idea. And I actually think like it's very underrated the effect that dumping water on yourself has. Drinking cold water, because that like is going inside your body, but then also like dumping any liquid that's cooler than your skin is huge. And I actually implemented a lot of that at Appalachian Journey. Um, I wasn't, well, being that it was only the start of April and, it's not, I feel like you don't get a lot of hot rides in or heat acclimation in before a race that early in the season. Um, and yeah, I did not expect it to be that. I mean, it wasn't just warm and sunny towards the end of the day, but it was just so humid. Um, I guess I can talk a little bit about my experience.
Yeah.
Um, so this was my second year doing the Appalachian Journey, the Long Doggy, which is like 100 miles. This is in Western Virginia. Gordon Wadsworth and his wife Emmy put on the event, and it's such a good time. In Appalachia, like he calls it. um, and this year I partnered with Jenny McFall. She's from Greenville, South Carolina, and she's a ripper. She comes from mountain biking, so I just on her pre-ride, I knew right away like this is gonna be great. We're just ripping the downhills, and I was I would be so used to like ripping a descent and looking back and I'd have to kind of wait for my partner or soft pedal and like she was right there. So going into it I was like this is good. Um Morning of the race was nothing like last year. Last year we didn't even want to step outside. It was so cold. And this year it was just so muggy. Um and I started with one earbud in my ear. Just so that I wouldn't have to get it out later on and have to like risk dropping it. But this was ironic because about 12 miles into the race, um the nozzle on my Usui hose broke off. This isn't one of the modern nozzles. Like I wish I had this one to show you guys. Like this one looks like an ancient device. I don't even know why this was in my cabinet, but I was like, oh, let me just grab an extra bladder from the cabinet, grab like the crustiest, oldest one, and put it in my brand new Usui. And I was like, great, this works. But I go to like drink out of it, and the thing just like pops out and like goes flying. And I'm in like a pace line at that point on the road. And so, of course, like my drink mix just starts just spilling everywhere, all over my bike and my bars and my legs, my clothes. And it's so sticky. And mind you, this is the drink, like this is my 2 liters that I need to have until like mile 40 or 50. So I'm like, oh no. And so I have a plain bottle of water on my bike that I'm glad that I had because I like, as I'm in the pace line, I take it out of my bike, dump the water out, and I start siphoning the drink mix from my hose into the bottle. Like, let me just save as much as I can of this. Because, like, I'm already bad enough about, like, drinking enough. So it's like, all right, I'm already in a deficit here. Um, and it's hot and it's humid, and I'm like, okay. So I'm, like, siphoning as I'm in this pace line. And my race partner, Ginny, is, like, filming because she thinks that it's just ridiculous. And everybody's just like, what is going on? Like the balance that this girl has is insane. It's like, oh yeah, like I can make a sandwich like while I'm riding a bike. Like I'm good. But then I'm so sweaty because of this humidity. I'm not heat acclimated, and my earbud just falls out of my ear because I'm just drenched. Like it's like as if I'm in a pool. My earbud just gone into the like the side of the road field. I don't even know where it went. So I'm like, for me, I'm like, it is not. I stop, and I feel like once I made the decision to stop and start looking for it, it's almost like you have to see it through. And if it was a more important race, I probably would have kept riding and just been like, all right, whatever. But I'm like, I don't want to have to buy a new pair of headphones. Like, I'm already like frustrated enough with the Usui. Like, I need to just we need to recollect. So we stopped and proceeded to look for this tan colored, like it couldn't be more similar to the color of like the grass on the ground earbud. And we're looking for it. The farmer that lives there came out and was like even helping us. And I was just so frustrated. I was like, this is mile 12. This is insane. I felt like I was letting Ginny down, but she was just such a rock in like just staying calm and saying like, it's all right. You know, it's not worth losing it. We'll just, you know, get back to the plan. And we finally find it. So, you know, that was definitely a redeeming moment, and it probably cost us like 10-12 minutes, but it felt a lot longer than that. So and I hadn't paused my Garmin when we stopped, so I didn't know how much time had gone by, and so I was very flustered. But you know, we got back to the plan, started grinding, and we started catching people that had passed us like 5 minutes earlier already, like 30 seconds into pedaling. So we were like, we're doing good, you know? And yeah, we worked our way back up to third place in the women's duo category, which we were very happy with. And if the race had been 10-15 miles longer, we would have moved back into second. So we had a really strong day, and super proud of Ginny. Shout out, because mile 80, she tells me, which she goes, I didn't tell you this before because I didn't want to worry you, but she said that this had been her first century since 2019, and this had been like the most elevation she's ever done in a ride or in a race. So I was like, well, you know, you're crushing it. And doesn't make a difference now, but yeah, she absolutely crushed it. We were great teammates, and I brought 6 gels with me, but didn't take one. Just solely Sour Patch Kids. Just raw dog in my top 2 bag. And it worked great. Yeah. So, you know, I love the partner format racing. That was your first partner race, right, Job? 'Cause you did it too.
Yep, I did it with Drew, and because my original partner, who you coach, Roston, was chronically overtrained or having a growth spurt or something.
This was before I was coaching him, by the way.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You didn't.
Roston,
Throwing Roston under the bus.
Roston did not cause the overtraining. So I don't even remember how I asked Drew to do this. We were like talking about how he wanted to get matching tattoos with Chase or something, and I'm like, I'll get a matching tattoo with you if you do this race with me. And he's like, huh, I'll ask my wife. And then from there he confirmed it, and I didn't believe him, but he showed up. So that was fun. And he
showed up after doing what the day before.
Yeah, he pre-rode the entire course the day before, and his pre-ride was a faster time than our race time, which was, I didn't know how to feel about that one. But so he comes in the Airbnb and immediately just starts talking like Drew does. He just doesn't stop talking. And he's like, I've got a great idea. I'm going to carry all of your nutrition, and you're only going to have one bottle the whole time. So we're making all these bottles and thinking about where we're going to get them from. And my parents were there, so they were out on course to give Drew all of my extra bottles when I ran out. So I only had one full bottle on my bike to be as light as I could. And somehow, even with drafting him on the downhills and riding my pace on the uphills, our normalized power was the exact same, and he weighs more than me. So we didn't do something right, or I didn't do something right. I don't know if it
Sounds like
was
he's
his.
just really fast.
Yeah. Well, at first I was thinking like he was running the Schwalbe G1RXs, which in theory Schwalbe's compound is slightly faster than the Race Kings, and they were narrower, so it should be more aero. But then at Sea Otter he was saying that he felt like his tires were slow. So I don't know whether to think that his setup was faster or what. He was also running the rigid fork on the Lauf, which in theory should be slower, but there was so much climbing that I guess since it was just a little bit lighter, that made the difference, even though he was heavier overall, carrying two of my bottles and a pack with all of his nutrition. We ended up 7th in the open men, which is better than I expected. So
Nice. Yeah, that course feels like it's all climbing.
yeah, because the descents are just as steep as the climbs, so the descents only take like 2 minutes and the climbs take like 10.
Yeah. How did you feel for that?
I felt pretty good. Yeah, on the second big climb up to the parkway, or on the parkway, I guess, I felt really good, which is weird because that was like 5 hours in, and I was able to do like a steady threshold effort all the way up for like 15 minutes, which was nice to see, and then just rolled it in as fast as we could after that.
You
We
know,
did go
talking about
for
shins,
talking about shit.
just talking, no, this is crazy. This is crazy, actually. I had a nightmare like 2 nights ago, and I was like, did that actually happen? But I was like, I need to bring this up on the podcast regardless. Literally a nightmare about my shins and my calves just like not even hurting so bad, just becoming unusable, and then me just like having to like crawl because they just hurt so bad. Like my feet were fine, just my shins and my calves. Um, and I think like at some point in the dream, like you know when like wood gets like splintered, like that was my shins. I was like, well, so yeah.
Yeah. How has coaching your
How has
first
your?
athlete been going?
I was just gonna
Yeah,
ask that, Rostin.
Yeah, it's been going good. Yeah, he's dealing with an injury right now, so it's been tough to get in any real training, but it's been really cool just like working with him on trying to like shift his mindset a little bit and just kind of help him start developing a better, I would say, relationship with training and with the bike. And yeah, really just trying to like help him like see the long game, um, since this sport is definitely a long game, and yeah, it's been going good.
Yeah. Shout out Seth Yoder. Met him through Strava
He's
comments.
gonna crush it in a few years. Yeah. Well, what's up next for you guys? Is it Unbound, or do you have something planned before that?
I'm all in for Unbound at this point.
Yeah, I think Unbound for sure. Uh, maybe I do BWR the week before, but I don't know if that would be a good idea or not. Um, it could actually work pretty well, or it could not work well. So I don't know. I'll have to decide on that. Depends how recovered I am going into that. So we'll see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm leaving for Spain at the end of April to race the Traca in Girona. It'll be my first time out there, but it's part of the Gravel Earth series, and Lauf is going to be out there. Going out there with my moms. It's going to be like a mother-daughter girls trip. It should be pretty fun. I feel like Girona is like the cycling influencer capital.
You'll fit right
So
in.
I'm curious to. Oh, come on. I'm curious to like just experience it and like, yeah, just like see what all the hype is about. I'm doing the 200K there. They also have a 350K, which I think is like a 200 mile race, that I was considering, but I've got such a long season that I just want to like pace it out, not have to DNF this race and like feel good about it. Um, but yeah, I'm excited for it, and I'm bringing all my cameras. Joby would be proud. I've got like my Canon camera. I'm gonna bring my GoPro, and I'm gonna bring my drone
When are you gonna start a
to get all
YouTube
those
channel?
shots. Oh man, I have I mean, I'm a planner and sometimes I don't execute my plans, so I've got a whole list of like already written out scripts all related to nutrition and psychology behind just training and health. That's kind of applicable to any athlete, any endurance athletes. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I've got a lot of different like hats that I'm balancing.
Hmm.
And so, one thing at a
You should just put
time.
your script into an AI character and have them make your YouTube videos. We could make a Nina
I should
AI.
just have an I should just have an AI character race for me.
Yes. Zwift racing.
True, and apparently one of my athletes saw Nina Machina on Zwift this past winter and texted me like, "Is this you?" I'm like, "I have never Zwifted in my life." Um, so there's a doppelganger or copycat out there, but they're not the OG.
Zwift this week released an update, and now outdoor rides count towards your Zwift experience level. What's your take on that?
I don't know, because I know nothing about Zwift. Sounds
I
like
think
it's
it's
not Zwift
great.
experience if you're doing it outside. Yeah, I guess it works in your favor, right?
Yeah, for sure, because I have some friends that pretty much only Zwift, and they're such a higher level than me, and I'm like, this is not fair. I ride more. I just don't like
Especially
riding
now that you're
outside.
riding more outside. You're riding more outside during the winter now that like you're not gonna freeze.
That I have a jacket.
Yeah,
Before
exactly.
Giordana sponsored us, I had one thermal jersey and one pair of thin gloves. So, like 40 degrees was my limit.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like it's definitely a game changer when you have the right gear.
For sure.
Well, cool.
Yep.
How do
We're
we end
at,
this?
I don't know, we're at an hour, and you got any other notes to add? Austin
Yeah, it's
probably needs to
spring
eat
now and it's
breakfast.
warm outside. He's been drinking coffee, he's fine. It's spring now and like the ants have been going ham on my flow, so it's been a battle and I've been keeping my flow in the fridge.
Like the bags or the made bottles?
Both. Like I had to, like my bags, like I had them in the cabinet and they started like swarming, and luckily they didn't get into any of the bags because in the past they have, like last year, last spring, they did. And like I tried to pick them out of my raspberry lemon flow, but then I like made my bottles because I had gotten them all out pretty much. And then I was drinking the raspberry lemon and like you know how there are like little seeds in there? Um I felt like I was like crunching on ants, so like that completely turned me off from the flavor. That was my favorite flavor. Um, so luckily they didn't get in this time and ruin another flavor for me. Um, but yeah, I moved all my flow to the fridge, so like it's funny like you open my fridge and it's just like a whole shelf of just flow. But it works. They don't get it there. But now yeah, they're moving on to other stuff. So I love spring, but I hate ants.
Do you not think that the raspberry lemon flavor of Flow is like super bitter?
I like it, or I used to at least.
I used to, yeah. I think that it's like it might just be my taste buds, but to me it's like extremely bitter.
Yeah. What's your take, Roston? What's your flavor go to?
I don't wait. That you talking about the raspberry? I usually just use
Just
like the
yeah.
plain. Yeah, uh, I think I like the raspberry, but I pretty much always use the plain, I guess. So I just like the least amount of flavor when I'm racing, because otherwise you get sick of it.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, did you see Keegan at the end of Sea Otter? Jeez
That was
Louise.
great.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to do that unless you're winning, maybe.
Unless you're winning. Throwing up is acceptable only when you're winning.
Yeah, when you're crossing the line, like actively have won the race. Otherwise, you just look weak. Well, that was our
Alright,
first episode.
first episode.
Wowza. Woo!
Don't hate us too much in the comments. Share it with your friends, even though we're not telling anyone about this. How many views do you think this will, or plays do you think this will get? When I uploaded that test of just me testing the microphone, it got 4 plays.
Probably all from you, and then the one from me. Because I didn't even listen to it. I just hit play, and then I like exited out, so I didn't even listen to it.
Alright.
And you can edit this, right?
Yeah, I can. Am I going to? Probably not.
Sick. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Well, let me know when you come up with the intro so I can like just give it a listen.
Perfect. I'll put it at the beginning because that's where intros go. We could just put the intro in the
Yeah.
middle.
No. All right. Well, is it
Alright.
do we have to like leave this open or like how does this work?